This conference will now be recorded.
So welcome everybody. This is the active surveillance group for every Wednesday, and we are recording tonight. I'd like to thank our sponsors of Bayer, Novartis, Johnson & Johnson, Lyra Genetics, Alex, Blue Earth Diagnostics, and Foundation Medicine. So I'm going to go through a roll call real quick and see who needs time. So, Greg Burns,
No, thank you.
okay. Dan in
Oh, I'm good.
Pensacola,
I'm good, thanks.
okay. Jeff,
Hey, how's everybody doing?
hey
I
Jeff,
do not need, as much as at this age I need all the time I can get. As I've said before, tonight I need no time.
roger
But thank you.
that.
All right.
Bill Wood,
I'm okay, thanks, Eric. Nothing tonight.
thank you. And Frank,
If individuals are interested in the results of my Polaris test that I took, I can give a quick update on what the results were if they're interested.
cool. So you just want an update, got it? Or update
Hey,
us,
Gary, maybe you can explain the process a little bit for those that may not fully understand.
sure. Michael in Alaska,
I'll ask a question or two of the group just as I'm waiting on a couple of things right now. Curious about timing.
okay. Gary, you said
Oh, I'm all set.
you're all set,
Thank you.
okay. And Donald,
Yeah, I'm all set, Eric. Thank you.
Cool. Alan in New York,
I'm good tonight.
okay. Bill in Virginia.
Nothing for me, thank you.
All right, Chris in California.
I'm good. Nothing tonight. Thanks.
Cool. Ignacio.
Hello, everyone. I do not need time. Thank you.
Okay. Rick, I think I already asked you, but let me know again just to be sure.
I am good tonight. No time, just listening. Thank you.
I bet. Joel in Virginia is our new guy. And Michael Thompson, did you need time?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Carl, how about you?
Yes. Minute or two?
Cool. Carl, yes. And Mr. Ray.
I'm good, thanks.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to start with Joel since he's our newbie. Let me get a question here, but how did you hear about AnCan?
Yes, hi, hi everybody. I heard about this group through a prostate cancer support group from the cancer center that I went to. So when I went to the support group, which meets once a month, someone in that group gave me the information in order to do follow up here. So that's how I heard about such a group as this. If you like, I can just quickly give you an update as to the cancer.
Yeah, I
Sure.
definitely want to get your details for sure.
Sure.
But we have a little procedure of going through some lists so we can get all the data appropriately.
Right.
And then we can get into the nitty gritty stuff after that.
Okay.
We have like a good baseline to start with your condition. Did you sign up for the emails by chance for AnCan?
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting the reminders?
Yes.
Awesome.
And so this group will meet once a week on Wednesdays. Is that correct? Okay.
Every Wednesday, unless there's a fifth Wednesday of the month. In that case, it's a little vacation.
Okay. All right.
And then let me get through some questions before we get into it. How old are you, and are you a veteran by chance?
I'm 74.
Mm-hmm.
74. I have not been in the service.
Okay. Thank you. And just so we get some good dates here, when were you first diagnosed with your prostate cancer? What year and month?
It was in December of last year, 2024.
Thank you. And how did you find out you had cancer?
In March of last year, 2024, I went in to get my once a year checkup, and the PSA results that came back as a part of that checkup, my primary care provider called me back to just let me know that he was concerned that it had jumped above the preferred, high rate of 4 for the first time. The PSA came back as 6.7. That was last March. So after that, he recommended that I do another PSA test in 3 or 4 months, and so that's what I did. So in that PSA test, it went down from 6.7 to 6.3. And at that time, I was encouraged to do what they call a 4K score test,
Sure.
and to also probably to make an appointment for an MRI.
Okay.
So I got the results of the 4K score test, and that came back with a part of that test came back with a PSA of 7.5. So it jumped up. It had started at 6.7, then it went to 6.3, and then it went up to 7.5. As a part of that 4K score test, it did come back saying that I had like a 79% chance of, if I were to do a biopsy, they perhaps would find that I had an aggressive form of cancer. So so I had the MRI in September of last year, and the MRI came back showing no signs of anything. It came back really good. There was no concern. The only concern was that the 4K score test had said that I probably do have cancer.
Okay.
So the decision was made to get a biopsy. So that's what I did in December of last year. So that biopsy, they out of 12 cores that they took, 4 of them came back with a Gleason score of 3.3. So 4 of them did.
Okay.
4 of the 12. And 1 came back with a Gleason score of 3 plus 4. 3 plus.
Is that the 5th one, or is that one of the 4?
That was the 5th one. So a total of 5 out of the entire 12 came back showing cancer.
Got it.
Yeah, the other 7 came back with no sign of any cancer.
Okay. The 5th core with the 3 plus 4, does it say how much 4 you have as a percentage by chance?
Yes, it came back saying that
10%.
that I had 10% of the tumor was Gleason grade 4, 10%.
Okay. 10% pattern 4 of that core.
Well, it says only of the tumor, but then it also says total biopsy length 20%.
Okay, so the way I understand that, it sounds like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the whole core has 20% of cancer, and of that 20%, 10% of it is the 4 version or the pattern 4.
Yes, that's okay. That's the way I also read this. It's just I just wasn't able to clearly say it.
No problem.
Yeah.
Just to back up a little bit,
Okay.
the MRI you had, did they use the MRI to target the lesions in your biopsy, otherwise known as a targeted biopsy?
No, it was a random. The MRI was done before the biopsy.
Because sometimes they use the MRI imagery and then use that to target lesions when they do the biopsy. And I was curious if that's what they did for you or if it was completely blind.
But he did say that the MRI was completely negative, though.
Right.
So if it didn't see anything, there wouldn't be anything to target.
That's true. Very good point,
right? Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks
right.
for that. So yeah, I guess there's no sense in using an MRI if there's nothing to target. Okay, so you have something going on in there. Was the biopsy transrectal or transperineal?
Well, I don't want to give you the wrong what I think it was. Okay, what I can say is what they did was to lie me down on a big, table, and then I turned on my side, and so they put the surgeon put the probe, went in through the anal rectum, yeah. So I was on my side when they did when he did the entire procedure.
Okay, that sounds like a transrectal.
Transrectal?
Yeah, because if you can, somebody else correct me if I'm wrong. when you do transperineum, your legs are up in the air like you're giving birth.
Did they
And
give you antibiotic before you had your biopsy?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's definitely a transrectal.
transrectal. Okay. So transrectal.
Yeah.
And did you have any other notes from the biopsy about perennial invasion or cribriform or any unusual words?
No, no. Everything in the biopsy report, there wasn't anything, any kind of words like cribiform. I believe that's good information to try to have in the report. But I've read the report many, many times, and I just don't see anything that has those words, cribiform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Have you had a second opinion on your biopsy yet?
No, no. I also had a Prolaris test done right after the biopsy was performed, and I got the report for the biopsy. The surgeon asked me and told me about what the Prolaris report would be good for, and that he really thought that's something that I should try to get. I should do. It sounded like it would give me more information about risk of the cancer that is there. So I did get a Prolaris report also. And that Prolaris report came back with something called a molecular score.
Okay.
0.1.
Okay. And what did the doc say about 0.1?
5.1?
No, you said the test came back 0.1?
5.1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
5.1.
And what did your doctor say about that number?
I'd have to say that I did not ask about that 5.1. When he and I talked and we looked over the Prolaris report and my biopsy report, he urged me to go to see a radiologist, radiation oncologist.
Okay.
So I made an appointment to go see one. He said, just go and discuss these reports with him and see what he tells you. And at that point, when I had sat down to go over both the Prolaris report and my biopsy report, I really hadn't decided what I'm supposed to do. At that point, it was my sense that yes, the prostate cancer that I have is not good, but it's not so bad that you need to have a answer like right now. So Um,
I agree, but I would definitely recommend getting a second opinion on your biopsy slides by two gentlemen that AnCan loves because they are the golden eyes for prostate biopsies. And I'll post their names, Dr. Epstein and Dr. Zhao, and their contact information in the chat window for you. Are you
Okay.
familiar with the chat window?
Yeah, I think
It's the little two window looking things next to the human icon in the top right hand corner.
it says no chat.
Yeah, I'm going
Yep.
to put it in right now.
Okay.
Here it comes. Whoops. Let me do that again. Here it comes.
There we go.
Let me know if you see that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I sure do.
So if you want, you can save this later, and I'll put out a reminder because we may share other information in the chat window, and you can download the whole chat near the end of the, or any time really at the end of the session tonight. But you can click on the links as well if that helps, and it opens up automatically in a browser. So definitely get a second opinion because these guys are excellent. That's all they do is look at prostate biopsies. And if they confirm what they see from your first biology report, that's a good thing. And I think it's usually covered by insurance, but even if it's out of pocket, it's only $300 or so, and it's worth every penny. The only zinger I see for you is you have your Polaris number was elevated for higher risk, and your 4K test was a little bit higher as well. So those are sort of two red flags that could mean there's something else in there that they haven't biopsied yet that could be even higher grade. That even the MRI doesn't even see a lesion.
Uh-huh.
So you're sort of waiting a very clean MRI, but some genetic material that seems to favor something's off and something's not right. So definitely get a second opinion on your biopsies for sure, or your biopsy, the one you have, just to confirm what's going on in there. Go ahead.
Can I ask you that? Do you that score of 5.1 that I see in my Polaris report does nowhere in the report does it explain 5.1. So I'm not sure.
It's on a scale of 1 to 10. Almost all those tests are like that. Or basically, there's Oncotype, right? And I had Decipher, and it's the scale, whether it's 1 to 100 or 0 to 10, is all the same kind of concept. So at 5.1, you're essentially right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Okay.
I would think your doctor would have told you that, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at some sample Polaris tests.
I think this is Frank. I think I can answer that question. What that 5.1 is probably the Polaris molecular score. It's measuring the proliferation of the cancerous cells. And on a scale of 1.8 to 8.7, he's in the middle there at 5.1. I talked to the Polaris genetics counselor, went over my report, and that's the way he explained it to me. So In my case, mine's 4.2 says your proliferation or the growth of the cells is around a medium, moderate. It's not that aggressive, but it's not slow.
Okay, okay.
Interesting. Thanks.
There also should be a page in there that looks like that kind of gives you their suggested treatment. But I also would say that, MRI and visible disease per Dr. Klotz is a good thing to have. You'd rather, even if you got a positive biopsy and you have I forget if you said it was a 4K score you got or what, even if you have that positive, when you have MRI invisible disease, that's on your side.
Yeah, I agree. As I said, the only red flags that I see is maybe some pattern 4, which is pretty low grade anyway. But the 4K test and the Polaris test are kind of hinting at something else. So those are my only concerns. Anybody else have questions for Mr. Bill? I'm sorry, Joel. Sorry.
Joel. I would ask you one thing on your Joel, on the 4 cores that you had that were only the 3+3. Does it show what percentage within each of those cores? Were they low, high, or just, do you know what they are off your report there?
Yes, let me. Actually, on the Polaris report, there is a statement that says the percentage of positive scores, positive cores, is greater than 34% and less than 50%. I'm not sure if that statement.
Yeah, I was actually asking you if you could reference the pathology report from your biopsy, because you had mentioned the 5th core that had, I think you said 20% of 3 and 10% of 4, but then you had the other 4 cores that were all 3+3. Does it give you an indication of what the percentages were in those 4 cores that were only the 3+3 on the pathology report?
Okay, on the pathology report, under a table called case summary, where it lists every single core for there is a column. The top of the column is called percent involved. I don't know if that's what you are trying to look for. For example, 3+3 for one of the cores, it says percent involved is 37.
Okay.
For another one of the cores of 3.3, the percent involved is 1. And then for another of the 3+3, the percent involved is 8. And then for the last 3+3, the percent involved is 3.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for or asking for, because I was just trying to get an idea.
Sure.
I mean, you've got the 1 core with 3+4, and it doesn't sound like there's much 4. And he didn't mention, and apparently there was no cribriform pattern, so that's a positive. So I was just kind of curious as to the other cores, how involved they were. They don't sound very involved at all, really. In my mind, with other people that have been on, or maybe on this tonight and have been on this in the past, over the 5 years I've been here, just from that perspective, you would almost sound like you are a pretty good candidate for active surveillance. But then again, that's something you got to discuss with your doctors. But I think numerous people on here would probably say that that's an accurate statement. I think.
Let me go to, I know Ray, you have your hand up. And then,
yeah, I had
go ahead.
a couple questions. Joel, was your MRI with and without contrast? Do you know?
Let me.
Did they give you an injection? Were they injecting
Yes.
liquid? Why? Okay, all right. So it was with or without. Okay. The
Yes.
other question I had too was the cores that were positive. Where were they located? Does it say like anterior, midline, posterior?
There were everything on the right side of my prostate came back benign. Every core that they took came back benign. The one core that came back 3 + 4, that was located in the left lat mid, left mid. That's the core that came back 3 + 4. Every core that they took on the left side of my prostate, except for one core sample of the 6, every single one of them came back 3 + 3, except for this one that came back 3 + 4 in the left lat mid.
Okay. Just had another curiosity, Joel. Your MRI, was it if it was a 1.5 T or a 3.0 T Tesla machine? Not a big deal, but just curious. If it doesn't say, don't worry about it. It's not a big.
Well, I'm sure somewhere in here it might say that.
I'm sure it might be buried in there, but what does your urologist say to go moving forward, want to do?
Okay, that's what I was hoping before I end here and let someone else discuss things.
Sure.
Everything I've heard and we've discussed has been good for me, and the things that some of you have asked me. The urologist, I can just tell that he would prefer that I do the radiation. He when I told him, I decided that after talking to the radiation oncologist, that I decided very much on my own, after all that I had read, and it was, after all that I had read from my test reports, with me not knowing any more than what I know just from what I've read, it just seemed to me that I was right on the edge of, yes, maybe doing radiation would be wise, but it also seemed like there was a chance that I could maybe pause that for a while and just see how my PSA scores do, and all of that I discussed with him. Just from the look in his eyes and what he told me, he really isn't, I can tell, in in favor of me doing active surveillance. So I will just pass that on to each of you.
Did he say why?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Because you have what seems to be pretty low risk disease. So I'm wondering why the push for radiation.
Yeah, yeah. I have a older brother. He's 4 years older than me. When he was the same age that I was when my cancer was found, which was when he was 74, he did have stage 4 prostate cancer. So they had to remove his prostate. So I guess based upon that's just one thing. Also going with my age, I guess all of these things. It's not that he's I just think, and what he tells me, he just wants me to have the best health that I can have. So
Okay.
he just each time I go to see him and I get my PSA test, we discuss the fact that I feel like I can stay on active surveillance. Again, it's only been 8-9 months now that I have been on active surveillance.
Now that you bring up your brother, have you had any genetic tests for cancer or your genes passed down from your parents? Has that been an option for you?
I mean, I don't know if that current test, when I get the email from AnCan, there's something about it about sending a saliva test.
Yes.
To a
it's called the PROMISE study.
PROMISE, yes. So
and I would highly recommend that.
I send in my sample. It's been almost two weeks now. So they sent me back confirming that they have it and they will let me know whatever they let me know from that.
Excellent. So you've got that started. That's another metric to consider as well.
Okay.
But I think based on what we see here, feels like active surveillance is an option for you. Did the radiation oncologist recommend anything when you spoke to that person? Were they pushing for radiation because they are?
Yeah. When I went to see him and he discussed things with me, and I did not let him know that I was that I had this thought that maybe I could go on active surveillance. So he went ahead and planned ahead when I would, start the radiation. And so I did not start any of that. I actually called him back and I discussed with him that I decided that I did not want to do a radiation treatment at this time, and I discussed with him why.
Okay. Well, I think you got some homework in the getting a second opinion on your biopsy. And then the other thing is the getting the results from the PROMISE study. And let us know next Wednesday what you find out and go from there.
Okay, sure.
How are you doing, like mentally? Are you freaking out, or is this
No,
another?
no.
That's good.
Yeah.
You got a good
I,
support group around you, family or friends?
yeah, yeah. Uh, yes.
Good.
Yep.
Do you have any other questions for us?
Not at this time. I really appreciate you letting me go over this with you and letting others hear. And so I will follow up on those things that maybe might also help.
Great. Well, I'm glad you came, and please come back.
Okay.
And I know we have some new arrivals, Ray and Alan. Did you need
A
any?
final thought.
Hold on. Ignacio has his hand up, Eric.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. My bad.
Sure. A final thought for Joel. The doctor that you have seen, is he at a center of excellence?
Thank you.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm
What I would say is that a doctor who immediately suggests that you get treatment is either not up on the latest trends, or he wants to, fill his pockets. My advice, in addition to what everybody else has said, is to get a second opinion from a doctor at a center of excellence.
and I thank you for that. So
Rick
would
can hopefully offer more information for someone who's out in Virginia. I don't know of any, but I got to think that somebody out there, close to Washington D.C. I'm assuming there has to be a center of excellence out there.
How far are you from UVA, Joel?
UVA is actually I don't know, maybe 80 miles from me. But I will.
UVA is Fredericksburg, correct? Am I right?
Yes, yes.
No, Charlottesville.
UVA is Charlottesville.
Charlottesville.
UVA is Charlottesville. Okay.
Charlottesville. Yeah,
so the two closest centers of excellence for you would either be Charlottesville or Sibley in DC. I can't. I need to look at the urologist. I'm not so good on the urologist, as you guys know, and I don't think we've got anybody else in here right now who's at Sibley. There is a center of excellence in Richmond, but we're not so thrilled with it based on the treatment that we've seen guys get there. So I probably would say to you, Sibley. How far are you from Sibley? Do you have any idea?
I believe it's in Washington D.C.
Yeah, I think it's on the north edge of Washington D.C. From what
I have heard of it. I'm about 35 miles from Washington D.C.
So the name I would give you, who's really good at UVA, is Dr. Kristin, or is it? I always forget if it's Kristin or Kirsten. Dr. Kirsten Green. Okay, and she knows us well. She's really really good. Kirsten, Kirsten Green. And the other person, and as for somebody at Sibley, I'm really not sure, but you know, the urologists at Sibley are all Hopkins urologists. I'll look. I think we've really got to move along. So
Okay.
let me put something in the chat window. You know how to find the chat window, right, Joel?
Yes, right.
Okay. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ray, you were late. Do you need any time?
No, I don't need any time. Thanks.
Thank you. How about Alan? Did you need any time?
I have one question, yes.
Cool. Thank you. So we're done with Joel. Thank you, Joel. Next up for an update or questions is Frank. Mr. Frank.
Hi, I'm here. I'll update the group briefly on my Polaris biopsy test report because I think it might answer some of the questions that were coming up. I got the report last week, and I scheduled a review meeting with a genetics counselor at Polaris. And for those who are interested in how I went about getting this test, I accidentally found this Polaris test on the internet just doing some research. And I went out to the website and got more information, and they have a brochure online that I read and gave a lot of good information. And there's a marketing specialist that's on the website. Her name is Mimi Reynolds, and I contacted her and asked if I could get a copy of that brochure because you can't download the version that's on the online, and she sent me a copy. I took that brochure over to my urologist a few weeks ago and asked for him to run the Polaris test, and he did. And he's got he said he thought the insurance would cover it, and he sent the slides, I guess they're called, over to Polaris, which I believe they only got one. In talking to the genetics counselor, it was the 3 + 4 = 7. I think that's the only slide they looked at in doing my test. But I'm guessing, I'm not sure. I didn't ask them that specifically. And so I got the report, and actually Mimi Reynolds, in following up with her, informing her that she asked me to let her know if the doctor was going to send the information, et cetera. And I did, and she asked me to send her a copy of my insurance, a card, and all that stuff, so they could file the insurance claim as well. So at this point, I don't know if it'll get paid or not, or whatnot. But in fact, I think online I read that if the insurance doesn't pay the full amount, they'll accept whatever insurance pays, and they won't come back to the patient to collect the difference. So anyway, in going through the and I have not met with the urologist on this report. I'm scheduled to see him next week, so we'll be going over the report next week. But I think it was helpful to meet with the genetics counselor because I have a better understanding of the report and when I meet with the urologist next week. So they use the clinical data or variables as well as their molecular score to make recommendations. And the clinical variables were my age, my PSA score, my clinical T stage, which is a T2C. And I asked the genetic counselor where he got that because it was not in the pathology report. And he agreed it was not on there. So he said, your doctor must have submitted that. And I didn't know what T2C meant. And I looked it up, and what it apparently means is that the cancer is on both the left and the right lobe. And if I look at my pathology report, there is one core that was on the left side, and the rest were on the right side of the lobe. So I guess that's what the T2C means. And then the percentage of positive cores, I was at 41%, and I calculated that because I had 5 cores that tested positive out of the 12. And if you divide that, that's 41%. And the range they give is 34% and 50%, which is where my positive cores were that fell between 34 and 50 because I was at 41%. And then they looked at the Gleason score. They looked at the 3 plus 4 equals 7. And what they came up with in my clinical variables is that I have an unfavorable intermediate. Now, interesting, the urologist and the radiation doctors that I first saw both said that I had intermediate favorable. So the Polaris report is saying different. The Polaris molecular score was calculated at 4.2 on a scale of 1.8 to 8.7. And that's basically looking at the proliferation of the rate that your cancer is growing. So he classified, the counselor did it at moderate growth. Using that molecular score and the clinical variables, they came up with 3 scenarios. The first one is active surveillance. The second one is single modal treatment. And the third one is multimodal treatment. And because of my Polaris molecular score, I fall into the single modal treatment, which is radiation treatment. This is what Polaris says I should get. Now, under active surveillance, the personalized, what they say under the personalized risk results, I have a 10-year risk of disease-specific mortality with conservative management with a probability of 6.4%. And what he was telling me, there's a probability. I asked this directly to a couple of times to the counselor. Does that mean the probability of me dying under active surveillance of cancer is 6.4%? And the answer was yes. Under single modal treatment and radiation treatment, I have a 10-year risk of prostate cancer metastasis with a single modal treatment and a 5.2% probability of dying with radiation. And then multimodal treatment, which is radiation therapy with androgen deprivation or some kind of, I guess, other chemical kind of treatment. I have a 10-year risk of prostate cancer metastasis with radiation therapy plus ADT, and the probability of that is 3.2%. So, and this is based on what he said were the NCC guidelines. So they're recommending radiation therapy. They also looked at under active surveillance to fall within that threshold, you have to be at 3.2% or less, and mine was 4.2. For single modal treatment, the threshold was 8.8%, and I'm at 4.2, so I'm well within the radiation therapy. And then they didn't give me a scale for the third one, the radiation with the androgen or whatever that's called. But I wouldn't entertain that one at all.
So just out of curiosity, the 3 plus 4 you had, was there a high percentage or low percentage of 4?
I had a
on your biopsy number.
Yeah, it's a low percentage. It was core K, and it was 11%.
Okay. So what do you think the summary is here for you? You think like you want to stay on active, or what does your urologist say, or?
Well, initially the first urologists and radiation doctors were taking me down the path of radiation. That's what he said right away. Well, you've got favorable, intermediate. You should do radiation. When I saw the radiologist, he said the same. The radiation doctor, he said the same thing. I went to see a second urologist and a second radiation doctor. The second radiation doctor said also I had favorable treatment, intermediate favorable, and he said, yeah, you could very well do active surveillance. And the urologist said the same thing, that I could do active surveillance as well.
Okay, so do you have any questions for us? What do you?
Well, you know, I've been noodling on this thing, trying to figure out what I want to do, which path I want to take. And I guess it gets down to me is the quality of life. If I decide to take active surveillance versus radiation treatment, you know, in radiation, there's a lot of side effects.
Sure.
I mean, I have a slide that shows all the potential effects you could have. So that's why I haven't jumped on it. But I don't know with active surveillance where I'll be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and would I look back and say, well, that wasn't the right path to take? And so what, you know, the quality of life. I mean, I think someone told me, well, you could eventually wind up with a catheter if you do active surveillance if you wait too long.
Wow.
And then I don't know with active surveillance if radiation, if I stay on it, let's say too long, is radiation no longer an option, and I have to go to surgery?
No.
So those are the
No.
things I'm trying to figure
No.
out.
Frank, no. I mean, let's cut to the quick here. Okay, and I'd like to hear from some of the other guys in the group. Your percentages, whether you do active surveillance, whether you do treatment, they're not very different.
Right.
1% here and a 1% there is minimal. You set up very well for active surveillance, even though your Polaris may give you a slightly, may put you slightly riskier. It's not enough, I think, for somebody looking at this to move you to treatment, unless you really want to do the treatment. So if you're with a good doctor, but I stress this, and you haven't been with a good doctor yet, if we get you to you know, Dr. Garraway at the VA, which is what we're hoping, or somebody similar to that, they're going to monitor you. It's going to get out of control if you work with the program. If you don't work with the program and forget it for 5 years and come back, it may have gotten away, but it also may not have done. So this is up to you. So your choices are: 1, get treatment right now. Yes, there are risks. They're not as bad as they sound on paper. And even if they are not that good, that you certainly stay above the ground by getting them. So you know, but there are a lot of people who would be very happy to have your diagnosis right now. So you can get the treatment. On the other hand, and you know, Gary Ireland will jump in a minute and he'll tell you why he hasn't gotten the treatment and what he could do. On the other hand, you can do the active surveillance if you're comfortable with doing it. You have to move to a good doctor who's going to stick on your back, because the operative word in active surveillance is active, and you follow it. And you get your PSA tests once every 3 months. You change your diet, you increase your exercise, you do all the good things that most of the guys in this room are doing right now, and it won't get away. If it starts to move, then you jump in. It will not move to a point where it prevents you from other treatment options.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry, go ahead, Gary. Was that you, Gary? Go ahead.
Yeah, but go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say, if you go back to the numbers you were talking about before, the difference between radiation with the ADT, the delta between all those is like 1 or 2%. So even active surveillance is still a good option for you.
That's what it looks like to me, but like I said, it's I'm just trying to figure out, you know, based on what I just stated, which way I want to go. I did look into the City of Hope Center of Excellence in Irvine, and actually I contacted my HMO. I sent the CEO an email because he encourages comments. on their service. So I told him, it'd be nice to be able to get to a center of excellence given my condition and all. He had a guy call me, one of the upper ups, and what he was telling me is that City of Hope doesn't accept Medicare because they don't accept their rates. And that surprised me. And so I called City of Hope directly, and they confirmed that's correct. They will not take Medicare. They do have insurances that they'll work with. Unfortunately, my insurance broker is on vacation. He'll be back on Monday, so I'm going to talk to him about that. So that's one option I'm pursuing. Or the second one is stated, maybe go to UCLA. Jim Marshall and I have talked about that. And he suggested we go forward with the VA claim and all. And through that, I'm going to get access to the veterans.
Okay.
But I'm going to go back and talk to him again because I think I might want to accelerate that and get over to UCLA maybe sooner if I decide to do active surveillance.
Go ahead, Rick.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead. Rick has something to say. And then Gary.
It's not exactly true that when they say they don't accept Medicare. What they're saying is, I believe, you need a supplemental insurance policy along with the Medicare. So they don't accept Medicare alone. But if you have a supplemental insurance policy, like, for example, is your policy an Advantage Medicare policy or is it a GAP policy?
It's a Medicare Advantage. It's an HMO.
So that's the problem.
Right.
That they won't accept your Advantage plan. That's what they're saying to you. It's not they don't accept Medicare. They do accept Medicare. They don't accept your Advantage plan.
Yeah.
So
Well,
have you gone back to go back to your people at on the insurance plan and say to them, do you have a center of excellence that I can go to who will accept your plan? It's not accepting Medicare. It's accepting your plan. That's the word you've got. That's the wording you've got to use, Frank.
right. The gentleman I talked to, they don't have a center of excellence.
Okay.
What he recommended, he recommended it. I'd be interested in going to UCI Prostate Cancer Center as an option because they do have a contract with them. He did also take the action item to go back and pursue going to City of Hope, and we're going to get back together.
UCI UCI is an option. How far is?
I'm sorry. Let me just say at UCI Prostate Cancer Center they have a Dr. Thomas Erling, AHLERING, and he actually, I was looking at his biography. He was at City of Hope, and UC Irvine recruited him to come over to UCI.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys. It's not a question of where they've been. It's a question of how they feel about active surveillance. That's what the key is. So you have to get a doctor who supports active surveillance.
And that website, I was looking at the website, they talk about active surveillance as an option. So,
okay. So that's what you've got to find. That's why we said to you, if you can get into the VA and quickly, and you can get to somebody like Dr. Garraway, that's going to be really good treatment. But go ahead, Gary.
I just, from my experience, I'm not generally an anxious person. So there is some, that's a factor with some people. I can sit it out, and as long as I feel it's not, not going to get out of the prostate, I'm pretty confident. And I also have a doctor who's a surgeon who I feel is excellent. And, I just spoke with him last week, and we're going to stay on active surveillance. He said, kind of implied I'm boring, and he's right. I want to stay boring. But it's also your threshold but in your case, it doesn't seem like, the numbers are about the same going anyway, taking any options. So for me, it's no question. I'm going to stay on active surveillance, but I'm also, if something happens and it looks like I need to get, take another action, I'll take it.
Thanks.
Yeah, and that's where my head is. And actually, when we talk about active surveillance, I'm thinking in my mind, because I am a nervous person. I'm not kind of the person that can mellow out all the time. But I recognize that. But I would, it seems like if I'm going to be in active surveillance, I want an aggressive active surveillance, meaning, making sure my PSA done. If it's 3 months, maybe I should have them done every 2 months. And that's why I need to talk to the right doctor. Or biopsies that I've heard any time in the range from 1 to 3 years. Well, might be better to do it in 1 year as opposed to 3 years, and those kind of things.
Yeah, find a good doctor and go from there.
Pardon me?
Find a good doctor and go from there.
Right. And a lot of it will get down to how comfortable are you with the doctor you're going to work with.
Absolutely.
And keep coming here so you get educated as to what's available and what your options are, and maybe it'll lower your anxiety, because this is it can be an anxious time, and hopefully the more education you have and the more data points, your anxiety will be reduced.
How long have you been in active surveillance?
Me?
Yes.
4 years.
Okay.
4 years, and I'm pretty active on active surveillance, but my doctor wants me to get a PSA check every 6 months. Would I prefer every 4? Maybe, but as long as things aren't moving, I'm pretty good. I think if things were moving, I'd ask for more frequent tests, but I'm good with where I am, and I really trust my doctor.
Okay. Any other questions for the group, Frank?
I'll just give a couple other comments. I did have another PSA test done, and it actually came in at 6.2. The prior one was at 6.4, so it did drop. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but it is lower. And I'm
Keep
also
an eye
pursuing.
on that trend.
I'm sorry?
For sure. Keep an eye on that trend for sure. Your PSA trend.
Is it good or bad that it went down? Does it matter?
Oh, it's good.
Okay. The other thing is I am pursuing sending my slides to Dr. Epstein.
We have to cut you. We've got to cut you off. I'm sorry, but we've still got 3 more gents to go.
Okay.
And we've only got another 15 minutes, and we'll go a little bit over. But sorry, come back in next week and keep a list of what else you want to talk about, and we'll try and get to you then.
That's fine, and I'm done. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. Keep coming
All
back.
right, Michael, you're next in Alaska. Has he left? I guess he left. Okay. So, Carl, you're next.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I will go at the Marine Corps speed very quickly. My name is Carl Friedrich, Marine Corps, 28 years retired. So I'm a military veteran. Cancer was diagnosed in February 2023 via biopsy. My Gleason score is 3-4 on 1 core. Right now, I'm in active surveillance. And since then, I had 1 biopsy, which showed no lesions. And my PSA is around 5. It has come down since I've been put on finasteride and on, finasteride is probably what brings it down, finasteride and Flomax. So right now, I'm an active surveillance. What I really want to find out, and I've heard some of the stuff what's already said, is what the group would recommend that I should watch out for being on active surveillance. I get my PSA score done every 6 months. I'm scheduled to have an MRI done on a yearly basis. And based on the MRI, they're going to decide each time if there should be a biopsy based on the MRI. So right now, it's PSA every 6 months and MRI on a yearly basis, and basically nothing else. I wonder if that is sufficient, or if I should watch out for something else, do something else.
Well, that's
Thank you.
very similar to mine. I have high volume, so I have 11 out of 12 cores, but I'm PSA every 6 months and an MRI every 6 months. So I'm due for an MRI this Sunday coming up. But it sounds like you're keeping an eye on things. The trend has been pretty good.
Yes.
No red flags yet or anything weird.
No.
Have you had any Decipher's tests or anything like that that would point to a different
No,
trend?
nothing like that. That's kind of like what I'm angling at. Should I do something else, or should I be content while being watchful? Am I missing out on something, or I'm on the right track?
I mean, you could get a Decipher score based on your last biopsy if you just want another number to base your trend off of. That kind of shows you how aggressive your cancer might be. They take the core with the highest Gleason score and they send it off to the lab and they kind of grade your aggressiveness of that cancer.
All right. Let me just say, I had this cancer diagnosed in 2023, one core. Like I said, it was a 3-4. In the following years, they did not detect any lesions, and this has now been going on for 2 years, no lesions. So there's really nothing to send off to anywhere right now. I don't think it's disappeared, but it's not visible to the diagnostic tests right now.
So the MRI is clean or clear?
Yes, yes, no lesions.
And your biopsy is 2 years old?
No, I had now 3 biopsies. I had the first biopsy revealed one core. The next biopsy revealed, it was just a blind one because the MRI had no lesions.
Sure.
So they just went in and did the standard quadrant assessment, and they didn't find anything on that one. And of course, they told me like that could be just dumb luck or bad luck or whatever, depending on look at it. But we'll do another MRI next year and maybe another biopsy next year. But that's all they can do because right now they don't see any bad spots. So,
I guess the only other thing would be family genetics. That would be another test that you could give you some insight. But your MRIs are clear, and if your PSA is not trending up or anything, there's pretty low risk here.
Okay, then you're basically saying, for the benefit of speed here for the group, you think I'm good to go for right now?
I think so. Does anybody else have any comments for Carl? Otherwise, we'll move on.
Carl, thanks for your service, and I like to get as many data points as I can. So I think Eric had great advice getting the other information.
Okay.
I have one question for Carl. What was that medication you mentioned, and what was the purpose?
Basically, before I was diagnosed with this cancer, I had enlarged prostate, and in the enlarged prostate, they put me on finasteride and Flomax to alleviate. But that was totally separate from the cancer, and that has worked. I also had a PAE done to alleviate negative. How can I say? Urinary issues, and that was actually very, very successful. I'm very, very happy with that operation. And basically, right now I pee not like a teenager, but pretty damn good compared to pre-PAE. So very, 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 very good at that one.
That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, and before I get off my soapbox, I do want to say a little bit of thing about AnCan. I ran into AnCan via a sailing trip where an elderly ex-Air Force veteran was present who was part of the AnCan community, and he helps out other veterans, especially with VA claims. He made me aware of that the VA actually looks at people who have prostate cancer and who were in certain combat areas, which I was, that we are following under the PACS law. And he navigated me through the VA claim, which was very arduous. And this guy, Jim Marshall, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but I want to, I want to praise him to the high heavens because he spent a lot of his personal time on this, guided me through the process, took about 6 months. And a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago, I got the letter from the VA that I'm now 100% service disabled. And I'm going to get a disability check. Thanks to Jim Marshall, thanks to thanks to AnCan, and as long as I am on active surveillance, I'm considered disabled and will get that benefit. So I want to say very, very specifically my thanks to the AnCan Foundation and to its members. Helpful on many, many levels.
Excellent.
So let me just thank you for that, and we hope that you will remember us when you figure out your charitable giving this year, because you'll have a little extra money. So that's how we survive here. We don't get the benefits from there. Jim Marshall is an amazing asset for us. He's helped a lot of people get a lot of money, and we're very grateful to him. The one thing I wanted to say, well, two things. One is keep coming back. Secondly, keep working with Jim Marshall, because he's going to find ways to get you 130% disabled. I'm serious, because they have that. That's a category in VA. You can be more than 100% disabled.
Actually, he mentioned that. Yes.
Right. So he knows the ins and the outs, and we'll try to put more money in your pocket if we can. What I also wanted to say to you is, we can't tell you what to do. We can't give you an opinion. We can tell you what we would do. Eric, for sure, would stay on active surveillance as long as he could. In fact, he has, and that's true for Gary and certainly for Alan and Ignacio. The guys you see in this room, they will all stay. But we can't tell you what to do. We cannot give you a medical opinion as to whether you should, whether you shouldn't. Only you can make that. We can tell you what we would do in your shoes.
Clearly understood. And I take your, how can I say, not even your guidance, but your comments in that context, that it's helpful information. But I will, of course, I don't hold you responsible. I look for my medical professionals to get my guidance. But this is good information. And again, very, very appreciative of this organization, and all the things that I've heard has been very, very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. So next is Alan. You have something for us?
Yes, I have a question, and I don't know if I'll need an answer, if I'll need to use the results, but I'm looking for 1 or 2 people for a second reading of an MRI.
Where to go? Are you looking for a doctor to give you a second opinion on an MRI?
MRI, yeah. I have one person, but we'll probably use, but I'd like to have 1 or 2 others.
I can post a few in the chat window for you.
Okay.
Here it comes. Stand by.
So look at that. That's a terrific list. Are those, have we verified all of those, Eric, or where does that list come from? It's a terrific list.
The first 2 we have. The last 2 are just random ones that offer it, but I have not heard good, bad, or otherwise.
I'm trying to get on this thing here. Mind your business. Don't talk back to me right now.
All right, I'm muted.
I think we'll mute AR until we're ready to talk to him again. So there is another service, Alan, that is just getting underway with it's courtesy of Bot Image. Do you read Howard Walensky's Active Surveiller?
Usually, yes.
Okay, so it was featured today, and he talked, and it's with an organization called Bot Image, who has a product called Prostate ID. And I'll look for the links in a second when I'm done talking to you. Eric's probably got it. Now, we are going to do a webinar or a seminar with them, hopefully before the end of the month. I'm waiting to hear back from them right now. We'll probably run it before an active surveillance meeting. They have fairly sophisticated AI, artificial intelligence, that provides a second opinion. Now, we've tested it with a couple of guinea pigs. One of them happens to be on the screen. Actually, two of them happen to be on the screen. We've got two people who have tested it on the screen just to see what it was like. Eric's put it in, MRI, prostate ID. Eric, would you like to tell Alan your experience? It does. I'm sure it's covered by insurance. I think that they're going to be charging, I want to say $300 for this second opinion. But Eric, maybe since you had the direct experience, maybe you can talk about it. And for those who are listening on the recording, the link will be in the chat underneath when it gets posted.
Yeah, in the notes. So yeah, they take your MRI image files called DICOM, you upload it to their site, and then the AI will read the imagery, all the MRI slices, and basically create a 3D image of where the lesion is within the prostate. So they can use that if you need a biopsy, or just to gauge where it is and how close it is to certain areas. Is it nearing the edge? Things like that. And it's another fantastic tool to see what it looks like. And it uses over 6,000 MRIs and biopsies from previous patients over the past few years that they've trained the AI with to make this three-dimensional report that they send to you.
How did it do with you? What do you think on you? Because you're a complicated case, Mr.
My red flag right now is it's nearing the edge, and so my MRI this Sunday will be a telltale sign of what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did you feel you got any additional information out of it?
I think I got a better sense of what the lesion is and where it is within the prostate without having to go through any kind of biopsy procedure.
Mm-hmm.
So it really enhances the imagery, but obviously it doesn't enhance any kind of Gleason scoring because it can't really look at the cells under a microscope, but it can physically show you where it is.
Right.
And the size and everything else.
Let's pick on our other guinea pig. Mr. Burns, are you there?
Greg is right here.
He is.
Greg.
Yeah, coming.
So what we want to know from you is how did you feel about your experience? You can be very candid. How did you feel about your experience with Prostate ID?
Well, I have the similar situation as Eric in that my concern is has it gone beyond the gland, and that is in fact a question I asked Mike, and he cannot actually comment on that because that's beyond what the FDA will allow him to comment on. However, he did said mine is, as close as you can get to the gland, to the side as you want. So, but he couldn't say anything more definitive than that.
So, Alan, it's going to give you a pretty good idea of the geography of your prostate,
right?
With the right information. And if you like that concept, then follow up with body image right now and prostate ID, and like I say, worst case it's going to cost you $300. Best case, your insurance is going to pay for it. Body image might even help you right now because they're trying to get off the ground with this service. They really haven't had a patient-facing service before. If you have issues with them, we have somebody who can help you. Commander Mike Crosby, Bing Crosby, is on our advisory board, and he's gone to work for them. So we can stick him on you or you on him, whichever way around you like. But he can be very helpful. He's a very good guy.
Hey, Alan, when was your last MRI?
Yesterday.
Oh, perfect. So it's fresh.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to speak to my urologist about it next week, and then see if I have to go any further than that.
Yeah, let us know next week.
My urologist is at Dana-Farber, and he's very good.
Good. Well, I'd love to hear what he has to say next week.
Yeah, who do you see there, Alan?
Stephen Chang.
Yeah, okay.
And I also see Mary Ellen Taplin, and you know her.
Oh, yes. Well, we know of her. She's a tough cookie, man. You don't want to be wasting her time, right?
I've met with her several times. She was the one who first helped me make a decision about active surveillance.
Well, that's very good. I'm pleased to hear that. So she's exceptionally well renowned, well held, and she's to the point.
Yes, and she's actually quite what made her impression she may give. She has been very nice, very kind, and very
good.
Caring.
The last time I saw her, she doesn't really know me. I don't think she knows me. But the last time I saw her, she was arm in arm with the late Felix Feng, who was a very, very well-known and loved radiation oncologist at UCSF. And before that, he'd been at University of Michigan. And he passed away last year from pancreas cancer. And I saw her, I think it was in the meeting in San Francisco in 24, and she and he were walking on arm in arm. I think they had been collaborators or maybe even worked together at one of the jobs. And so, but it sort of showed me a softer side of Mary Ellen Taplin.
Anything else, Alan, for us?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let us know next week what you find out.
I always have a conflict with square dancing, so it depends upon what's happening next week.
No worries. Let us know if you can. Please come back.
I will.
So we're nearing the end, but I know Mark came in late. Did you want to say anything, Mark?
I just wanted to thank Rick for his comments last week about Dr. Egner from Chicago. I've been in touch with both the University of Chicago as well as UCLA Urology, and have had some wonderful phone calls with Joanne and Dr. Brisbane over there. Okay. And I'm rescheduling my biopsy to go through Dr. Brisbane with a transperineal procedure, and he and Dr. Egner are apparently already collaborating via email on some research projects. So there's a chance that I'll be able to see Dr. Egner as a primary care physician based on when he's set up inside UCLA. So I just wanted to thank you, Rick, for bringing that to my attention.
It's a pleasure. I mean, first of all, we're much, much more comfortable with you doing a transperineal because it's not even from the issue of safety, but just from the issue of getting a better feel for what's there because it sees things that the transrectal doesn't see. And secondly, Egner's great. He's a handful. He'll tell you what he thinks. He's not a Mark Schultz. I will tell you, he's a lot more in your face, but he's a great doc, and he is very, very pro active surveillance. He's written a lot on active surveillance and calling 3+3 cancer, not calling 3+3 cancer, and all of that. And he's a personality, so you'll do great with him, and he knows us pretty good. So I'm glad you're making that move.
Yeah, and I hear you gentlemen referring to centers of excellence, and I assume UCLA falls in that category.
Oh yeah.
My experience between my family members and myself has been nothing but positive over the years with anything related to UCLA, and I can't say the same thing for some of the other well-known hospitals out here in Southern California. So I'm very happy that this is all coalescing together because they've always done my MRIs, and if and when I need any form of treatment, it can entirely be possible that it will be done through UCLA, whether it be Dr. Marks or anyone else that's over there, or Dr. Egner. And so again, I'm how do I say this? I've never been happier, to have somebody tell me what the procedure involves than I heard this afternoon from Dr. Brisbane. So again, thank you, Rick, for that recommendation.
Good job.
Yeah. Well, we're nearing the end here. We're slightly over. Does anybody have anything for the group?
Yeah, there was a gentleman at the bottom there who we see, and he just came in late.
They are?
He's showing himself as AnCan Barniscus room, but I don't think that's who he is. Who is that down AnCan Barniscus room?
This is Robert. Can you hear me?
Yes, Robert.
Hello, everybody.
Did you need any time?
No, but I just next time I come in, I will take some time up. But the perineedle is the way to go. I had one after a year and a half, and it totally blew away the initial biopsy that I had a year and a half ago. So it is much more accurate.
Good to hear.
Okay.
Yes.
Question: Did you do it? Did you do it under a general anesthetic, a local anesthetic, a twilight anesthetic? How did you do it?
It was a local anesthetic.
Okay, and you were good with that?
Yes.
Good, man. Okay.
Would you do it again?
Well, hopefully the results were so positive, I won't have to do it for a couple of years.
Good. Good to hear.
Because the initial one, which was a year and a half ago, had 2 tumors at 3+4 with 5% of the 4. And this one came back with less than 0.4 centimeters of those 2 tumors and at 3+3.
Nice.
So it was a big difference.
Yep.
Keep it up.
Yes.
That's a good trend.
And I also would like to thank the group because it's been real positive for me to hear everybody's journeys, because the main one that changed my thing was the John Hopkins second opinion of my first biopsy, because they changed the initial readings from the first one also. So that was a big plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that second biopsy is very important for everybody.
And the second opinion too.
Second opinion, I mean. And John Hopkins was where I went, and they made it easy.
We'll definitely get that second opinion, Joel. We want to hear back from you. No pressure. Anything else for the group? Otherwise, we're going to sign off for the night.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody. Right, real quick, if you want to save anything from the chat window, the 3 vertical bars or 4 vertical bars in the just above the chat allows you to download the entire chat from this evening. or to your desktop or wherever you want to put it. And you can play with it later.
Eric, hold on a minute. We'll have a little chat when everybody has disappeared.
Okay. I'm going to turn off the recording. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for showing up.
Good night. Thank you very much.